The Lakers are at risk of falling into the play-in tournament. Here are 5 things the Lakers must do if they want to avoid that. First of all, if you're not sure what the play-in tournament is or how it works, it's basically a tournament to determine the 7th and 8th seeds. It includes the 7th through 10th seeds facing off. It's not a true one and done unless you're a 9 and 10 seed, which the Lakers are very unlikely to fall into. If they do fall in the standings, 7 is probably where they'll land. So for the 7th and 8th seeds, you need to lose twice in a row to get bounced out of the playoffs. Again, an unlikely scenario for the Lakers. Still, they want to avoid this tournament because although the likelihood of elimination is low, you want to avoid any chance of that happening at all. You also don't want to be playing extra games in addition to the regular playoff schedule. Avoiding the tournament also gives them about a week off while the tournament is taking place. The whole league could use some rest, but this is especially true for the defending champions, who, if I'm not mistaken, have the most injuries this season. So a week off before the playoffs will be very beneficial to them. So now let's talk about what the Lakers need to do to avoid the tournament. Obviously, they need to win, but how do they achieve that? Number 1, they must have a set rotation. The end of the season is approaching, and if they want to get wins, they have to do so with their best lineup. And that's difficult to do when a lot of your guys are injured. But they have to do their best to maintain continuity in their lineups. Now is not the time to be experimenting. Vogel has been great in making adjustments during the playoffs, but right now, we're in the regular season. If you want to get wins, your best chance is to let your guys play in a way they're familiar with. Vogel has been switching out guys left and right these past few games, and that's been detrimental to the on-court chemistry. The defensive rotations are off, the offensive execution is off, because guys aren't used to playing together. Vogel needs to figure out who his best players are and play those guys consistently. 2, they need to get Andre Drummond acclimated. Defensively, he looks fine. Definitely could use some improvement, but he's been serviceable, and the Lakers are still one of the best defensive teams in the league. He just has to get used to their schemes. But offensively, man, this guy needs to get it together. He can't finish lobs, he can't hold on to the ball. He's clumsy. I don't know if it's him being rusty from not playing basketball for a while or if he's always been that way. There are understandable mistakes that happen because you're in a new environment, but the ones he's making are just sloppy and they need to be corrected. The offense is designed for the guy in his position to make those easy shots. If he's fumbling the ball, that completely wastes their efforts for him to get that shot. 3, the Lakers need to get Anthony Davis readjusted to the team. He's been out so long that the team has learned how to play without him. So they need to be able to integrate him back into their game plan, which shouldn't be hard since this team was built to support AD and LeBron. What's going to be difficult is AD getting back to being AD. He's got to get his conditioning in order, and he's got to get back into his rhythm. But out of shape and out of rhythm, AD is still the best player we have right now. So just him being out there helps. But if they want to solidify their playoff position, AD is going to have to be back to himself sooner rather than later. 4, fix the offense. I know that's such a vague solution, but that's what they need to do. Since LeBron's injury, the Lakers have been really bad on offense. I want to say they're 27th in offensive rating. Not 100% sure, but I know they are near the bottom of the league. AD's return should improve the offense. This team was built around LeBron and AD, so with AD back, this restores the pecking order somewhat. The other players can go back to the roles they're used to playing and won't be expected to produce as much as they've been in recent games. Having a go-to guy really simplifies the offense, and AD's talent should open up things for the rest of the guys. When it comes down to it, they just need to hit their shots. And at the very least, they need to take care of the ball. They've been struggling with turnovers and have just been making it harder on themselves. When you commit a turnover, not only are you not scoring on your end, it is much more likely the other team scores. And even if they don't, you make it harder for your defense to get back, and you waste a lot of energy on that end. It's a vicious cycle and something they can absolutely control if they focus. 5. Hope LeBron returns soon. Seemingly all their problems will be fixed if the best player in the world returns. Having that guy out really hurts the team. LeBron is essentially the offense. So I'm not worried about him having to readjust to the team. The team adjusts to him. He can play with anybody. He's been in the league 18 seasons, so there isn't anything he hasn't seen already. His understanding of the game is next level, so he'll be good to go. As long as he's healthy, the team will be in a good position. The only question is, when will he be healthy? It was rumored that he would return next week. If that's true, that gives him 8 or so games left to play in the regular season. I think that should be enough to rack up wins and keep them out of the play-in tournament. So those are the things the Lakers must do to avoid the play-in tournament. These last few games of the season are more about getting ready for the playoffs and building that chemistry. Playing championship basketball. It's not so much about seeding or avoiding a tournament. And even if they do end up in the play-in tournament, it's not the end of the world. But they will make their lives a lot easier if they avoid the tournament. This just gives them fewer obstacles on the way to the championship.